Hi everybody, my name is Kevin Burns and I was in the Crossroads Mission New Wave program around 2016, 2017. Yeah, well, before coming to Crossroads Mission, I was hopeless, I had no guidance. I was just trying to numb the pain, acting real immature, just, doing anything to get that next fix with no structure, no plan for my life. Well, I was down and out, I had pretty much given up, I was hopeless, I was, doing whatever drugs came my way. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care whether I lived or died. I didn't have no hope. And I was just living really reckless. I've been an addict, since my high school years. My parents were both addicts. Obviously, when I was a little kid, I didn't partake in that. But once I got old enough, or in high school, more so middle school, I started dabbling, and I've been an addict since then. No, so me, it was opiates, and then I got into meth and heroin. I've dabbled with alcohol. I've had an experience with alcohol as well too. Pretty much almost anything that comes my way that gives you a head change, I entertained it. Yeah, just to get out of my own head. They say wise people learn from other people that already learned the lesson. I'm one of those people that have to. Oh, you learned the lesson? Oh, well, I have to go learn myself. I have to touch the fire and make sure that it really burns multiple times in order for me to learn my lesson. Yeah, I have to try it myself. So for me, when I was a young man, I didn't have no life skills, I didn't have no guidance, I didn't have no work ethic. I used to steal, support myself and my habit. So I ended up going to prison for burglary. But before I went to prison, I got placed on the drug court program. That program helped me out a lot. Unfortunately, I still went to prison afterwards, but that was also a blessing as well. So while I was on drug court, they wouldn't approve the address, the only address that I had. So I ended up at the mission for about a year, and I was doing pretty well right there. Yeah, I was there for about a year. I was able to maintain multiple jobs, and they were helping me out. But then unfortunately, I broke a couple rules there. Ended up getting kicked out. That was to my own fault. But. Yeah, that's what led me to the mission originally. That was back in around 2013, 2014. Yeah, my original story with the mission starts when I was like 18. I used to stay at the Serenity House. So yeah, the mission's been helping me for a while. I got kicked out, and then I got my own place, and then I continued on drug court. And then I graduated drug court and still ended up going to prison for my own fault. And then I got out of prison, and I started messing with hard drugs in Phoenix. And then I got picked up, came back here to Yuma, and my sister's like, "You can't stay with me no more. You need to go to a program." So I went to the mission, and I tried it multiple times, and I kept getting myself kicked out for relapsing. It was a slow process for me, and I've even messed up since being at the mission, but I feel like every time that I attempted to get help, I learned a little more and a little more. All those times that they helped me with open arms, I was able to learn more and more and become more and more of a man, more and more of the man I was supposed to be, I do believe in God, and, going through the Crossroads mission, I was able to strengthen my relationship with God. I found a godly wife. And, we participate in church, and, my relationship with God has far further increased since, being around the mission and finding my wife. And I'm still no saint, but at least I have conviction now with if I were to do something wrong, I'm able to feel conviction, which is a blessing. Yeah, so I would say at the time when I was in the mission, my relationship with God wasn't what it is now, but I was always curious, I remember Fabian Valenzuela would take the guys out to go pray over at people at the park and things like that, and I'd always want to go with them, I was kind of shy about God, if I'm really being honest, but I just learned that, God is love, and everybody's deserving of love no matter what you do, who you are, the morning huddles, and just seeing how the mission, treats people, you know what I mean? At least for me anyways, I've broken the rules many times there, and you might have to kick back for a little bit, but they'll always take you back, you know what I mean? Usually just through the help of the Crossroads mission, other community agencies, just the community in general, our recovery community. I feel like it was a little bit of everybody that helped me for my particular journey. I was able to one, become a better man. I try and be a man of integrity. I try and do what I say I'm gonna do. I try and help others the way I would want to be helped. And then I was able to buy a house. I was able to get remarried to my beautiful wife. I have a child, and I can honestly say I'm a decent father. I consider myself to be a good father. I'm there for my daughter, and I'm really glad that I was able to have my child once I was able to sober up and grow up a little bit more. That's been a blessing. So the people that are still suffering in addiction, I would say don't give up on yourself. 100%. If I could do it, you guys can do it. Don't give up on yourself and just keep trying. You can dust it off and try again. Just believe in yourself, believe in God, and it really is one day at a time. I would say take it slow and just do the next right thing. You'll be blessed.